All right, I think many people will interpret that as you're having an open mind. Let's move on to the Jamaat-ud-Dawa itself. Even though it's been officially listed as a terrorist organization by the United Nations Security Council, it continues to operate freely and openly in Pakistan. It raises recruits, it holds rallies, it raises funds. Worst of all, it distributes leaflets advocating jihad in Kashmir. Why do you permit that?
The government of Pakistan has taken all necessary steps to, first of all, proscribe the organization, secondly, to freeze their assets, and do everything possible to discourage what they are distributing. But as you know, in every society there are all sorts of people.
Can I interrupt and put this to you? You say you've done everything possible to proscribe the LET, but the truth is it hasn't been notified under the Anti-Terrorist Act. In fact, in September, when Hafiz Saeed was released by the Lahore High Court after you tried to detain him under the Anti-Terrorist Act, those were the precise grounds on which the judge released him, that the organization is not proscribed. So clearly, even by what you claim yourself, you haven't done everything you could have.
The organization is proscribed, and that is the factual position.
Then on what basis did the Lahore High Court release him? Because the judge in his verdict releasing Saeed said so specifically.
Well, judges are judges and they can pass verdicts.
So in other words, you're questioning the judge's verdict.
I'm not questioning his verdict. What I'm saying, he is independent and free to pass his verdict.
But you're also saying the judge is wrong.
I never said that. I said whatever the judges do, at times one has to respect their decisions.
Fourthly,
at times you can like, or at times you are not completely comfortable with their judgment, but you have to respect them.
Fourthly, the Indian government believes it has evidence that serving officers of the Pakistan Army, a certain Major Samir Ali and a certain Major Iqbal, are directly connected with 2611, and this evidence was part of the dossier made available to your Foreign Secretary in February. Will Pakistan investigate this issue and get to the bottom, or are you going to brush it aside and dismiss it altogether?
In the interactions that I've had, nobody has raised this issue with me so far. When the issue is raised, we would look at it with an open mind.
According to the Indian papers, this has been formally made part of the dossier given in February to your Foreign Secretary.
Well, a lot of times you know that papers write sensational stories.
The Home Minister of India, at a seminar where your High Commissioner was present, also publicly said that India had evidence of at least Major Samir Ali.
Well, we've invited the Home Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, to visit us in Islamabad for the Home Ministers, the SAARC Home Ministers Conference. And if he wants, he can have a meeting with his counterpart on the sidelines and he can raise all these issues.
Now, sadly, Foreign Minister, in the last few days, a new issue of terror involving Pakistani citizens has come to international attention. I'm talking, in fact, about Faisal Shehzad, who, as you know, has admitted to being responsible for the Times Square bomb. He's admitted to undergoing terrorist training in Pakistan, and he's said to be the son of a Air Vice Marshal of the Pakistan Air Force. How do you respond as Foreign Minister to this development?
First of all, Mr. Shehzad is not a Pakistani citizen anymore. He is an American citizen. He is a naturalized American citizen.
Can I interrupt? Are you absolutely sure he's given up his Pakistani citizenship? I ask because your country permits dual citizenship, and it is possible for Mr. Shehzad to be both an American and Pakistani citizen. And news reports suggest that, in fact, 2 Pakistani passports and an American passport have been found on him.
I will have to check. I'm not aware of that. But I am aware of the fact that he is a naturalized American citizen, and the government of Pakistan will cooperate with the United States and help them in whatever way we can.
Now, sadly, as you perhaps know better than me, this is the 3rd time in a year that people of Pakistani origin have been arrested or detained in connection with terrorism and the United States. There seems to be a sort of pattern developing here. Does that worry you?
Well, citizens and individuals of various nationalities have been identified and have been arrested and picked up from different places in the world, not just Pakistanis.
Except for the fact that today, the Washington Times in America says that there are 10,000 jihadis a year being produced by Pakistan, despite the claim that you make that you're effectively fighting terror. And your own citizen, Ahmed Rashid, has written in the Washington Post today that North Waziristan is now a region that has become an even greater terrorist hub than Afghanistan was before 2001. The clear impression from just these two papers today in America is that Pakistan is a sort of terrorist-producing factory. Does that impression of your country not concern you?
Well, we are not claiming to be fighting a terrorist or terrorism. The world acknowledges our fight. They acknowledge the sacrifice that the people of Pakistan and the armed forces of Pakistan have made. They acknowledge the successful operations we've had in Swat, Malakand, and the tribal belt, and in Waziristan. We've had a very successful operation in South Waziristan, and we are moving on according to our plan.
And yet the impression in the world outside is that you're producing terrorists, as the Washington Times says, 10,000 a year. As your own countryman Ahmed Rashid says, Pakistan is a bigger hub than Afghanistan was before 2001.
Well, every individual has a right to say what he wants to, and he can write. And I respect Ahmed Rashid, as an individual, independent writer. But we do not have to entirely agree with his analysis. How has he come to this figure? I have the foggiest.
Foreign Minister, let's take a break at that point. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.